Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a special interview in the build-up to Glory Days 4. My name is Michael England, and what I do with is some overseas correspondence and broadcasting for the AWF, just in terms of the global expansion of this company. But that's not why I'm here today. Today I'm conducting a very special interview with the current owner of the American Wrestling Federation, Mr. Shawn Walsh. Shawn, how are you today?
I'm feeling really good. It's Glory Days season. How can I not be feeling good? Thank you for having me, by the way.
That's okay. Thank you for your time. This is a very exciting opportunity for me to ask you a few questions that have definitely been dying to ask from all of our fans as well. So I want to start off with perhaps the most general one, the roster of the AWF. It's often referred to as perhaps the most talented roster in CAW on a person-by-person basis. Just one thing in regards to that, with people coming in, do you think it creates sort of a friendly competition that people would have to step up their game, or they'd otherwise be forgotten or left behind due to the immense talent that's on the roster?
Oh, absolutely. It's competition from top to bottom. There are talented people in the main event scene, through the mid card and the tag team, and anywhere on the show. There's competition. I've gone on record and said in the past, and I truly believe it, I think the AWF roster is one of the, if not the, most talented rosters in all of call wrestling. And I don't feel that's a controversial statement at all, because of all the talented people from the past who have been doing some of their best works today. We have some of the people who are rising up on the card, really getting attention, and we have so many people who are just putting in work, because if you don't, you fall down. If you notice, the people that don't put in the work, they either stop showing up, they are lower on the card, or I fire them, because I want the best of the best. And if you're willing to try and bring me that, then there's an opportunity there, and so many people have taken up those opportunities, and I'm really happy about that.
Absolutely, it's definitely a great thing, not for just yourself as an owner, but for all of the fans to have such a talented roster with everywhere in the show, the Uprising or Superstar Mayhem. They can look forward to a completely jam-packed and exciting show every time. So with those shows in mind and with the talent pool in mind, when it comes to Glory Days, was the next evolution for this event to be 2 days? Was that something that was always in your mind, or was that something that was sort of spawned on from having so many talented people that you needed 2 days to fit that many people on the card?
See, when I first had a first draft, I guess you could say, in mind for Glory Days, it was a one-day show. It was a one-day show. I had roughly the idea in mind to have somewhere about 12 matches, and I thought maybe I could fit them together, maybe squeeze one or two to a pre-show, and we would all be in good shape. We'd have a long show, but we'd be okay. But there have just been so many people who, since specifically like the Royal Rumble, who have really brought attention to themselves, that have made it clear that they deserve a spot on the show. And I feel if they're working hard and putting in the work, then they do deserve a spot on the show. That is why I decided to expand the card to, I think we're like 17 matches, something like that. And obviously with those matches, there's just no way that this can be a one-day show. It has to be 2 days. It's just way too much for one day. So splitting it up, Uprising gets a day, Superstar Mayhem gets a day, and the talents are going to get a chance to showcase themselves. And there will not be a pre-show for Glory Days, because I feel while the pre-show utilized in the past has been a great tool, and it's a tool that we may use in the future, for Glory Days, I don't want people feeling like they're not on the card. Everyone who made the card this year deserves to be there, and they deserve to be part of the quote-unquote main card. And whether that's on day one, whether that's on day two, they deserve it. And I think I got most of the people on the roster who on the card, and if you didn't make the card, there's probably a problem with what you're doing.
Sure, it's definitely something to look forward to with so many talented people and so many great matches. It's definitely going to be a spectacle for those 2 days, but I just want to focus on one key match, and that's from Superstar Mayhem. Evan Rockville and Ben Hitman, a feud that's etched in AWS history and has evolved over time. Both men have changed a lot over the years. And so with this match, how do you think this would stack up to their previous encounters? Do you think it's the right time for the next step in this feud, the next evolution in this feud?
The Evan Rockville and Ben Hitman that we see today are 2 completely different people from the Evan Rockville and Ben Hitman that we saw even 2 or 3 years ago. Those 2 people have evolved throughout their careers so much. Those are 2 guys who have been here since the beginning, since we've been here on YouTube, and they have changed so much in more than just appearance. Also, their attitudes and their skill, and whereas Ben Hitman, he's now a 10-time overall in Call Wrestling, a 10-time world champion. Ben Hitman, there was a point where he was, I guess what you could call a good guy to the fans, and the fans were very much behind Ben Hitman, and that has changed over the past couple of years, where we've seen a new aggressive and angry side to Ben Hitman that, while personally I don't agree with every move that he makes, but it is proven to be successful. He's been in the main event. He's been world champion not once but twice since then, and I can't hold that against the guy. It's clearly something's working, and he's back in the main event of Glory Days. And then we have Evan Rockville, who, since he's been back, his goal has been to win the world championship again. But this time, unlike the last time, the fans have a seemingly different response for Evan Rockville. Once, and I believe rightfully so, there was a negative response to Evan Rockville, because he did do a lot of messed up things that he himself has admitted to that were wrong to Ben Hitman and his family. And I can't even disagree with Ben Hitman not forgiving Evan Rockville for what he did. But Evan Rockville has proven to the fans, at least, that he's made strides to be a better person and to focus on the task at hand, and that's winning championships in his business. He hasn't quite gotten there, but he won the Royal Rumble, and he's crossing paths with Ben Hitman once again. This match, it's not going to be like Glory Days 2. This is not going to be like any of their other previous encounters. Yeah, they're maybe at points they seem to be. At some points, it seemed that in their matches that one guy was going to walk out of there dead. But this year, this is about 2 guys who need to win, but only one who can win. If one doesn't, the one who doesn't win will walk out of there not the same again, and they may not get back to that stage ever again. And both of those guys know it, and that's why all that has come up from years ago has come up again, because they both know one will be able to move forward, one never will, and we're going to find out at Glory Days who that will be.
It's definitely one of perhaps most widely anticipated matches, not just on the Glory Days, but the entire season for AWF. But just looking at those 2 and looking into perhaps the past of AWF and the way it's evolved, there's 2 men that have been with this company for quite a long time that will clash off at Glory Days. So Mike Reider and Tattootaker, and what's possibly going to be Mike Reider's last match in the AWF. I just want to take some time now to thoughts on what Mike Reider's contribution, what he means to the AWF in terms of its history and how he's been there and able to help the company evolve over time.
For one, both those guys, long-time vets. They've been here for a long time. Mike Reider longer than Tattootaker, but been here since day one. of the operation, and he's put in a lot of work, but clearly we've seen in the past few years, as what happens in life, he's aged. He's still proven to be level, but we've seen periods where Mike Reider has come back, stuck around, and then left for many, many months to come back later. You know, age catches up with you no matter who you are, and I think Mike Reider realized that, and I think that's why he made this decision, because I don't think he wants to go out when he's beaten down and can't get up. He wants to go away when he thinks he can leave on top. However, Tattootaker thinks otherwise and thinks that he's going to be able to put Mike Reider down before he goes. I've spoken with Mike Reider, and I do believe he's telling the truth when he says that this is the end for him. I guess it's possible, and if he ever would to decide one day that he has more in him, I'd be more than willing to have that conversation with him. But as it currently stands, this seems to be the end, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to go out with his arm raised. I don't know if he's going to go out laying on the mat. But what I do know is that if he is going out on the mat, Tattootaker is going to have to bring everything to put him down. So we'll see what happens. I thank both for their contributions, but for one last ride.
It's definitely a match that's steeped in history, and perhaps two men that haven't defined the journey of the AWF more than Tattootaker and Mike Reider. We certainly look forward to that. But from the past and perhaps present of the AWF, move on to the future. And just want to bring up just a few people that will be making their Glory Days debut this time. You've got the likes of Matt Black, Ben Hopkins, and even champions like the Extreme Champion Mason Chronic and the Junior Heavyweight Champion Brandon Wolf. The fact that there are people of this talent level, even people that are champions in the AWF at the minute now, making their Glory Days debut this season, does that show how far the AWF's come in like a recruitment sort of side of it, bringing people with that talent in, and they're just making their debut on the AWF's biggest stage now? Does it show like a new wave of talent coming through this season, showing that the future is, as they say, indeed now?
I think a little bit of both. I think I know, first of all, this past season, more people than ever have been recruited or brought into the AWF, whether it's been through PCW, whether it's been brought up to Uprising, Superstar Mayhem. So many people have been brought in, and we see, look at the names and faces from just Glory Days 1 year prior, and look at them now. There's, like you said, there's so many new faces. We can go on and on about the guys who have been there and who have had multiple Glory Days moments. We just talked about them. But, like, these guys coming in from the Matt Blacks to the Ben Hopkins, the Brandon Wolfs, the John Blackos, the Mason Chronics, all these people who have come in, who have made names for themselves, have won championship gold, which impresses the hell out of me, because some of these guys came in and won gold pretty quickly. And now they're going into Glory Days with big time matches. And that's just a true testament that the future is now, because they're coming in and they're taking the gold. They're here to be on top, and it's a testament of who these guys are. They're not here just for a cup of coffee. They're here to be on top. Look at the guys who are champions. We have Nitro as internet champion, with John Blackos as US champion, Mason Chronics extreme champion. We got Brandon Wolf as junior heavyweight champion. All these guys who are, this is their first season on the main roster in AWF. That's insane, but it just shows it is a new era, and these guys are the ones who are going to be leading the era, and that includes all the people that are also going to be there challenging these guys and on and on. And I'm very excited for Glory Days this year, as I'm sure everyone can tell. But I think I'm even more excited for what's going to happen after Glory Days, when all these talents, the ones who've been here, the ones who will be coming, will have even more chance to think that they have. I'm really excited for that.
I think not only that, but for me personally, once we have Glory Days and we look to the future, there's a lot of new, unique matches and new, unique situations for the people in the AWF that we haven't seen a lot of other places. And while we may have seen some situations in other places, it's going to create new opportunities and new rivalries, new matches that will create such a fresh environment for the AWF that you truly don't know what you'll receive on a week-to-week basis. It does create such a unique concept. And speaking of new concepts and new ideas, at Glory Days 4 we'll see the creation of the new $1 Million Championship belt. And now I know I've had a few people asking me myself, is this replacing the Money in the Bank? And if so, what inspired your decision? What made you decide to switch from the traditional Money in the Bank to this new $1 Million title concept?
Well, to answer that first question, yes, it is, I guess, taking place of the Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank has been in many different call shows. It's been a part of the AWF for years. Many people have cashed in, won championship gold, but after CyberSlam this past year, where AJ Young won, he will go down as the last Money in the Bank holder, and after he decides to cash that in, whatever happens with that, win, lose, draw, that'll be the end of Money in the Bank. Reason being is, like I said, a lot of call shows have the Money in the Bank, and there's a reason for that. But the AWF isn't trying to be just like every other call show. We're trying to bring something a little bit different, even if whether it's a big or a small thing. We're trying to bring some things to the table that separate us from different call shows, so that we're not Call of Honor, that we're not DCA, that we're not DZW, that we're not ECF, that we're not CCL, whatever it be. Something different to show people, hey, look, there's another reason that these guys are a little bit different, and I should check them out. That's for the fans. And I just think the Money in the Bank is kind of a tired concept that has been used in Call, and it's kind of, okay, we've seen this, we know what's gonna happen here, someone's gonna win, they're gonna cash in, maybe after a match, maybe, who knows, and it's fun, but after you've seen it so many times, it takes the fun away, at least in my opinion. And that's why I wanted to introduce a new concept that I really haven't seen in call shows. Maybe this will evolve a spark for others, I don't know. But where, for the $1 Million Championship, you have to defend it as if it's a title. You have to show me and the fans that you deserve that. And if you do hold on to it to cash it in, we're not doing this, when someone's injured, you're going to go and take advantage. No. I want to know that you're going to show the fans that you deserve to be the man, that you deserve to be the world champion or the world heavyweight champion. So you're going to do it right. And that's why whoever wins of the four men competing, whether it's Tank, Kamikaze, Don Martin, Travis Sparks, whoever it is, or if they lose to someone else, whoever it ends up being, they're going to show if they're going to become champion, they're going to do it right.
Well, it certainly is, in my eyes at least, from the shows I watch, a new and exciting concept. Definitely, just to agree with your point there, whoever of those 4 people that becomes the first $1 million champion is going to have a definite fight on their hands, not only to become world champion, but to keep that opportunity. It might be a stepping stone to be the next in line, but it's definitely one of those that you have to continuously defend, continuously look out for. And the fact that this roster is as good as it is at the minute, that's definitely going to be no easy task for whoever walks out with that. But just to we've talked about a lot of positives, both in the past and in the present for the AWF. I just want to look at something. When it comes to the titles on the shows and the branding of these shows, there's one thing for me that I believe is lacking in talent. The tag team scene on both brands, I feel, I don't want to say the weakest part, but it's definitely the one that lacks the most depth. Off the top of my head on Superstar Mayhem, I can only really think of Big Dwayne Dynamite and the Maverick Brothers, who of course will be facing off at Glory Days as the only tag teams there. So it's something you're looking to work with or improve upon when it comes to next year, and perhaps trying to find new tag teams.
Absolutely. The tag team division, it's a division in progress. It needs work, and that's not a negative thing to say. That's nothing. There's no knock on the talents in the tag team division. That's no knock on me, because it needing work, it just shows that there's improvement to be made. And yes, the tag team division could be a little bit more loaded, and there are plans in place for moving forward to load up the division. That was a plan that was put into place beginning with this current season that we're wrapping up. And at certain points we've had that, but through some breakups and through some roster changes, things happen. But I think we're going to start to see, after Glory Days, there's going to be some more teams on both shows. We're already starting to see some of that. Like we have Brent Thompson and C.J. Hawkins now, 2 veterans who are going to be in the division. Even some of the junior heavyweights who aren't competing for the championship right now are doing some tag team work. Like we have Noguera and Matt Black, and they're facing Alberto Jr. and Eddie Sleeves. All 4 guys are junior heavyweight competitors, but they're tagging right now, and that's just on Superstar Mayhem and Uprising. Yeah, we could definitely add some over there, because I think the Disciples, pending what happens at Glory Days, whatever happens with them, the Blood Brothers, whichever team walks out there is probably going to need some more competition. And my message to both of those teams is there will be competition coming, whether it's from talents on the roster coming together, whether it's from talents coming in. There will be some coming, and I tell people this: if you're looking forward to some more and better teams in the AWF, give us some time. Give us a few months. Well, I guarantee you. I'm putting a guarantee. I feel like I'm AJ Young right now. I'm a guarantee that the tag team division will improve within the next few months.
It's definitely always good to hear. I feel a bit apprehensive on myself to forget about Brent Thompson and C.J. Hawkins, who have become perhaps one of the more unique and, for myself, one of the more enjoyable acts in the AWF. There's such a presence when it comes to the duo, and they're definitely some 2 people that I would definitely look out for next season for the AWF, because there's such an ominous foreboding when it comes to these people, but you just can't help but watch everything that they do. So it's definitely good to hear that we're going to see more tag teams in the AWF going forward, and that definitely creates more unique situations and pairings. I mean, just from myself looking at it, we've had people like Ben Hopkins, Brandon with John Blackhouse. We've seen them all come from tag teams at one point in time. So for anyone out there that's just starting recently, being a bit apprehensive about thinking, would they benefit from a tag team? If you look at the people that are rising to the top of the card everywhere, they've more than likely they've had their start somewhere like a tag team. It's a great place to build yourself. If you're coming into such a stacked card, make an advantage of the places that need more people, that need people to define a brand, define an opportunity, and there's no better place in the tag team division to do that. Because at the end, if it doesn't work out, you can always turn on your partner and it'll look quite good.
Well, yeah, you can do that. And to touch on that, you do make a good point, because I've noticed in my years in CAW, for some people, there's a reluctance for some, I want to be in a tag team. And first of all, there are championships to compete for. If you want to be a champion, go and compete for a championship, first and foremost. Second of all, it's an opportunity. Like I said at the beginning, I give people opportunities. It's up to you after that what you make of it. You mentioned a few guys who started in tag teams and have gone on to be single stars and are doing quite well for themselves, and some in other places. For one, I'll give one example. That Ben Hopkins guy. I don't know if you heard of him, but
Never heard of it.
He came into the AWF with AFN because of their success over in Call of Honor, and they were brought in for, obviously, because talented individuals brought in, but also to help load up the tag team division. That was one part of the stage to try and get the tag team division to a certain point, but we still have some work to do. But from there, look, Ben came in all those months ago as a tag team. Now he's competing for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and all because he came in and he took an opportunity. If that can happen to him or anyone else, then why not? It doesn't matter who you are or what you've done elsewhere. Take an opportunity. You don't know where you'll be in 6 months. You might be a little bit better than you might think that you will be.
Absolutely. It's always worth betting on yourself, as the old saying goes. But when it comes to betting on yourself and yourself as the owner of AWF, is there anything you regret about this season, about how things have gone there? With the benefit of hindsight, that you look back on, you say, maybe this could have been done differently, or I could have done this better if I was given time, or if I look at it now. Is there anything that stands out to you as something once this season's over, you can look back and go, yeah, that is what I would define as my biggest regret when it comes to this season?
I think I've had a little bit of a too soft of a heart for some individuals, and have given some people who haven't deserved opportunities anyway. I'm not going to go and list them in for the purpose of poking fun or make fun of. I'm sure some of the viewers at home will be able to point to who those individuals are, and I'm not even saying that it's directly 100% their fault, but there have been some people who've come in this season and they've been given opportunities, and even despite after failed opportunities, they were given more opportunities, and things didn't pan out, and unfortunately that's what happens. And for me, I'm gonna have to be a little bit smarter about that and give the people who wanted the opportunities those chances more often. Like even what you said with the tag teams, that's going to be a big focus to get that on both brands at a better state. Again, I think people are going to be impressed what they see in the next few months. I just think overall it's to get better, because I can sit here all day and talk about how great the roster is. I can talk about how great of a season we've had. Other people can do it, and which is much appreciated, by the way, for all those who have. And I look back at this season as a huge success. I think it's my best season. But I look at every time I get to the end of a season, the same thought hits my mind. The goal next season is to make this season a better season in every way possible. And if I don't do that, then maybe I'm behind the times. And I feel, and I've had people back me up on this, I feel I've done that. Every season, the next season has been better than the last. Whether it's fixes in storylines, talent, production, anything and everything. And so the goal next season is to find any little thing and any big thing to make better than the last. And I really think we're going to get there in the next season. With what I roughly have in mind, without telling people too much. But that's the big goal, just to find any issues before, and to make next season even better. And if this season was really good for people, then that's a great thing to hear for the fans listening.
It's always good to hear about owners of core leagues looking for even the slightest improvement to make on those shows, so that when it comes to the fans having an enjoyable experience, that's always good to know that everything's been worked on to provide them the best experience for them to continue to come back and introduce new fans to the product. Speaking of new fans to the product, AWF has a lot of international stars. Ben Hopkins, Evan Rockville, Stephen Syntaxes, even John Blackhouse, all throughout the United Kingdom and Europe. Is like a tour of the United Kingdom or a tour of Europe something that's in the pipeline for the American Wrestling Federation? Sort of a global expansion, a global sort of bringing it to fans that haven't really had the chance to experience the AWF in a live environment as of yet.
I think so. And I know that there will be plans to go to other countries, whether it's over in the UK, because we have quite a few people in the AWF who are international talents, whether they're from the UK, Europe, or anywhere else in the world. We have talents, whether they have reach in Japan. We have people who have reach all across Asia. We even have a talent from Brazil. We have a talent from South America. So that's just undiscovered areas, and we obviously also have up in Canada. And we've toured a little bit in places, but I think we could do better. And I think we're going to see some more focus, because there's so many guys that have a following over there. And I think we'll see it. I think we're going to see some more shows appealing towards that, which is odd, because if you look what the A stands for in AWF, but although it's American, it's not an exclusively American thing. We encourage international talent and international fans, and we'd love for the fans from different countries, including the United States as well, but all around the world. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you dislike. Let us know, because it's a whole big world. We would like to appeal to all demographics.
It's definitely a good idea. Part of my job is when people looking at expanding the AWF worldwide, one of the things I hear most of all is we want to see the AWF live. We want to feel that environment, see the people that we relate to, and we want to see in action right there in front of us on our doorsteps. That's definitely an exciting thing to hear about for all of the fans worldwide of the American Wrestling Federation. Just before we wrap this up, I do have one final question. So, looking back at this entire season as a whole for the AWF, the progress that you've made, the roster's made, and everything that's happened, do you think this company has taken massive step forwards in the goal that was originally set out for it back when it was founded? Back when it was founded at the start of this season, when you set those specific goals for the AWF, do you think you have achieved those with the content and the progress that the AWF has made in this season?
Oh yeah, I think I've overachieved my expectations for the season. Obviously, I had the simple one of making it better than the last season. I think it is overwhelmingly better than the previous seasons for a variety of reasons. I wanted to provide more different kinds of programming for people to enjoy, even if it was just trials or full-time things. And we've offered that through different things on Uprising and Superstar Mayhem, through PCW, through CCWO, through just special things like this, and top 10s and reaction podcasts, just different kinds of things to give to people. I'm really happy with the success of so many people and the reach to the fans, because I see it and I really like it. I like, for example, when there's people who come in and they're like, wow, I didn't know this guy was so good until they came to the AWF. We have like John Blackos, who's doing good for himself. He came in AWF, won the U.S. title, and you don't even know like how many people whether it's public posts or they messaged me and they told me how happy they are, and they're like, oh, that's great. I was really looking forward to that, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty nice. The support for guys like Tyler Watson, for example, who no one was looking at beforehand, and then he was given a chance, and now everyone's like, wow, this guy's actually pretty good. He could be a future star. I'm just really happy with the talent's ability to get their skills out there, and that the fans see it, because it's a win-win. It helps them, it helps me, and and also too, the AWF audience, it's at its highest it's ever been. When you look at especially combined views, the fan base is growing, more people are talking, and I'm really happy with that. I really do hope that coming into the new season we get more fans looking and commenting and liking, and I'm just overall very satisfied with just about everything this season. Yeah, there's a few minor things that we could have done differently, but if I had a choice of keeping as is or not doing it at all and starting over, I would keep as is. I don't think there's, for what we've had this last season, I don't think there's any better that I could have thought of. Really proud of everything.
You definitely have a right to be proud, and that stretches to all the wrestlers in the ring, all of the staff that work not only on screen but behind the scenes on AWF, making this show as good as it can be, so that the people that pay their hard-earned money to watch us, whether it be in the seats in the arena or at home via YouTube, to give them the best show possible, which is what we're looking forward to seeing, of course, with Glory Days 4 just around the corner, and the reactions and everything that you feel about Glory Days. We do wish to hear it once Glory Days is uploaded. If you do leave a comment on the AWF Facebook group or the YouTube channel itself, it would really mean a lot going forward to hear from the fans, because without the fans we wouldn't have a stepping stone to provide us with a product, to provide you with a product. There's a lot of people that will tell you that listening to the fans and how they react to things, whether it be promos or certain things that they do in the match, the way that we evolve is through you, and we really do wish to continue that and to continue the interaction we've built with the fan base as the years and as the seasons go on. But that about wraps it up for us here today. So I just want to thank Shawn for his time today in relation to this. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground, covered a lot of questions, and it's certainly going to be an exciting thing going forward for the AWF, starting with Glory Days 4, which is just around the corner, and I can't wait. Shawn, do you have any closing comments?
Thank you to all the fans for the support. Thank you to the roster for giving it their all, from the top to the bottom. You guys all matter and all contribute something to the show. I appreciate it. Let's keep going. And with Glory Days 4, we got some work to do.
We do, okay. And with that just about wraps it up. So from Michael England and everyone at the AWF, we'll see you for Glory Days 4.